Hello, guys, gals, and butterfly pals. I'm Afterlife. This is my first time making a video after 3 years. Wow, that's so long ago. Dang. Anyway, today's video. I'm redesigning 2 of my OCs along with designing 3 characters from a potential comic I'll be working on soon. And so he should probably stop explaining this half and explain the characters themselves, huh? Well, let's get started, shall we? First up is Alex Santos, aka Fruit Bat. Their civilian design is actually a Ryu, whose design of my Marvel OC, Michael, who can see in one of my TikTok videos. In fact, this is the exact reason why I wanted to make his comic in the first place. He's when he dreamed of inserting my OCs into any forms of media I grew up to attach to, who I know there's a 50% chance that people might not like to see characters that are in minorities in fear of them being written badly. They're just not supportive of them, or he misinterpret them in fandom. Am I still doing that, but with different characters? Yes. And I hate to not dwell on it. Anyways, back to Alex. I thought I might give them a light grungy look, but it ended up not looking like they have a grunge aesthetic. I might workshop that later. Their main colors are purple, light gray, and white because he got a fun idea that hero, vigilante, and villain characters all have one color in common. And for vigilantes, it's purple, symbolizing neutrality between blue, heroes, and red, villains. Now you probably noticed that I preferred Alex as they instead of he or she. That's because they're an NB, or in other terms, non-binary. I want the 3 main vigilantes to be a even amount of genders. I already got a girl and a boy, so Alex is the balance between the two, and I also gave type 3 albinism the attribute I gave to all of my characters. With this lovely mutation, all have colored lashes to correspond with their hair and brows. Alex doesn't have powers. All they have is a form of defense. And besides their fists is a adjustable staff. Now, as for origin, Alex moved to a town in Illinois with her mom and little sister to their mom's childhood home, up until she was a teen, of course. And when he went downstairs to the basement after trying to look for something important, only to accidentally find a secret room after prying the door open to find an old computer set, papers on walls, folders, and cassette tapes in drawers. And one specific drawer is the very staff you're currently seeing behind their vigilante persona. And speaking of which, their vigilante name is Fruit Bat, reason being they love bats after deciding to save and helping like 3 or 4 people in their neighborhood. And while training in disguise, they ended up feeling helpful in helping their neighbors. Her Fruit Bat was born. Okay, and that was very long. On to the next character. Next up is Huya Woods, aka Dragonly, and just like Alex, her civilian design is a reused design of another Marvel OC he named Casimir. But unlike Michael, I didn't post art of them on any of my platforms, but I might have by the time this video is uploaded. I gave Huya a more formal look to her civilian design because unlike Alex, who grew up middle class, Huya, who grew up high class. And since she is the daughter of her town's mayor and her purple is darker, representing that she's also a vigilante, but has a dark truth about the reason why she's a vigilante. If you haven't noticed already, Huya is indeed trans femme. It plays a small but noticeable part of her story, but I'm not gonna say it because spoilers. Appearance-wise, Huya is Asian American, more specifically European and Chinese American, but he's always told that she looks like her father even after her transitioning. It's still continuing, unfortunately for her. Note, this is not transphobic. People do indeed get told that they look just like their parents regardless of gender. Anyways, her vigilante outfit is inspired by Marvel's Black Cat, and her vigilante persona also has a very noticeable cat's ears and tail inspired by the European wildcat and a dragonly after finding out the two looked similar enough. Her origin, she originally started this whole vigilante regime to find some information not only about her father's true colors and connections to villain organizations, but also the whereabouts of her mother, until she heard someone getting mugged a block from where she is, stopped it, and after stopping to more, she just said, you know what, that's it, I'm just gonna do this vigilante thing part-time. She just felt like she had no choice in the matter, but hey, at least before Fruitbat joined the team, she got help from another vigilante who was also starting out. Speaking of which, our next and final member of this vigilante trio is Murad Akim, aka Sea Wasp. He's not only the second longest member of the three, but also the youngest member, being only 17 in the current story. Marab is a unique case because unlike Alex and Huya, Marab is fully original, I think. Okay, I have no idea if he is or not. He originally didn't have a design in the original idea. In fact, he wasn't supposed to exist in the first place, simply because I only thought of a duo and not a trio. I'll get back to that later. Anyways, as for his design, it's kind of basic tank shorts and shoes. I was going for a athletic look for him, but it sort of worked with his background of his family being pretty unwealthy, so it kind of works in a way. But the tank might need like some type of design on it, like something related to water. And speaking of which, he also has powers, although they're only water-based with a bit of venomous electricity. As for his vigilante persona, Sea Wasp, I wanted his costume to look like he paid for it to be custom made just for him. But in actuality, Huya was the one who got it custom made for him because he couldn't actually afford it. If you notice, his right eye is a lot more blue in his vigilante persona than his civilian one. That's because he bought blue contact lenses, but due to his heterochromia, his eye that is naturally blue looks even more blue, especially since only his blue eye glows when he's using his powers. His origin, as far as he's been aware, he was born with powers. He never knew his bio dad since he left when he found out that his mom was having him, and since his mom is a completely normal human being, he definitely got his powers from his dad. Murab started this whole vigilante regime not because he accidentally saved someone, but because he wanted to get into one of the teen hero teams. That had been his dream since he was little. So he saves lives in order to get attention from the older hero who's in hopes to become a hero. 2 years later, he met Dragon Lee, and another 2 years later, Fruitbat to join the two. Pretty upsetting, I know, but hey, at least he got friends and to support him. Also, there's like a 50% chance his parents know he's a vigilante. He isn't sure if they do or not. Okay, I'm done. And with the main three vigilantes, now I'm moving on to the main hero of the story. Meet our main hero and mentor, Randall Lopez, aka White Fang. He's the only adult hero who has been keeping a watchful eye on the three wannabe heroes. He originally didn't want anything to do with the vigilantes in the first place, but when Fruit Bats came along, he saw and felt a faint familiarity from the kid. I'll get back to that later. Here on, I have to explain his appearance. Much like Murab, Randall's design wasn't reused from another OC. His design was a combination of Logan from X-Men and Bigby Wolf from The Wolf Among Us. Flippy Watson. Anything too special, just a flannel, tank, regular pants, and shoes. His hero costume was a struggle because one of his inspirations was Lobo from DC Comics, and I tried to insert some of his elements like his belt and knee pads, but I forgot that Randall is a literal werewolf and needs fur. So this was all I could come up with, and the only hints to Lobo on him is his mask, his shape vest, tank, yet again, and his belt. Since White Fang is a hero, anti-ish hero, he gets blue on his design, but it's a dark, dullish blue color, and you're probably wondering, why is his hero named White Fang? It was a last-minute decision. Cut me some slack. We'll think of a new one, and by the time this is posted, his origin. Yay. Oh dear stars. Randall came from a pretty short line of heroes, 3 generations to be exact. Since his grandfather was the first gen, he does have kids of his own from his previous marriage, but his firstborn despises him greatly, and his youngest just wants them to get along like an actual family. Randall and his son were her close ones, but his daughter has no idea what happened, who caused a drift between them. Randall, who after her everything, tries to avoid others, her teammates, its superiors, inferiors, kid heroes, you name it. He doesn't know why, but he ends up mentoring the vigilante trio in secret, knowing full well most vigilantes don't end up becoming heroes, no matter how hard they work to gain recognition. And it's mostly because Fruit Bat has the gadgets that originally belonged to an old friend of his. It could be that, right? Okie dokie, he is done, and now it's time for our final character. Meet our vigilante turned anti-villain, Azrael. No one knows her actual name, age, or anything about her. All everyone knows so far is that she's a woman between the ages of 18 to 23, wields a scythe, and likes anything cute if her mask says otherwise. Okay, so just like Marab and Randall, Azrael didn't have a original design before this speed paint. Design-wise, her costume is supposed to be a mix between an assassin suit and a knight's uniform. Since the anti-villain group she's in is heavily inspired by the assassins and angels, I might need some advice for her design too. And the only thing connecting her to the Archangel Azrael is his scythe on her back. If I get the chance to redesign her again, I'll just replace the twin scythes on her chest, his plate with her villain group logo. I'll just keep the mask because it gives an insight to what kind of person Azzy is. And trust me, her mask is the most tamest and normal looking. If you see the mask of the other 7 archangels and higher mask, I'll range from uncanny to what in the 7 rings of heaven. If I'm able to draw that. Her color, like other vigilantes, is purple, but like Dragonly, it's a dark purple. Origin. Azrael is one of the younger members of the vigilante, now anti-villain group Heaven's Court, and she's also the youngest archangel in the group. Her only job is to keep a watchful eye on a certain feline vigilante, making sure she doesn't go far on the wrong side. You have to admit, even she didn't expect to keep her eyes on 3 more vigilantes with 2 of her own Heaven's Court members. Okay, Azzy's is the shortest to explain out of all of them, since most of it is top secret. Anyways, that would be the end of the video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell just so you won't miss a video. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Tumblr, or don't do all of that if you don't feel like it, and I might see you guys later. Bye!